What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Night channel, and welcome to the first video for the basic God guides I'm going to be doing for the game Smite. And what I'm going to be doing, if we go into the God tab here, is I'm going to be going alphabetically in order by each row. So this first video is going to include Achilles through Anhur, and then the next video is going to include Anubis through Ares, and I'm going to keep doing that until I get through all the gods. I'm just going to be covering the basics behind them, what their abilities do, their passives, how to build their abilities, which, abilities to max first, and then a couple of options for builds, which I got from recent videos based on each guide from other people. So I'll be including their builds, what they use in that video, and why they did it and stuff like that. I'll have links in the description for each person that I use, so that way you can watch those videos, step by step, or the play-by-play, so you can understand why they chose certain builds and all that good stuff. But with that being said, I guess let's jump right into it. We're going to start off with Achilles. Alright, starting off with Achilles, we're going to jump into his ability builder, so we can go over his abilities, explain what they are, and then if you want to manually, select which abilities you want to max first, we're going to go over that, and then we'll go into the game to show you what it is. So you see I already have it built in here. I'm going to clear it out real quick, and we're going to start off with first explaining that each god has 4 abilities. So we have his 1, his 2, his 3, and his 4. So when I say, oh, I'm going to use his 3, I'm going to max his 3, I'm referencing the order of which his abilities show up. But let's start with his passive. It's going to be the most noticeable thing when you first start playing the character. He's going to have a floating icon above his head, whether it's a shield or armor or a sword. The sword gives him movement speed and physical power, and then the armor gives him health and defense. Alright, in the order of which I've noticed just from watching other people play. Again, I'm not a build expert. I'm not an expert at the game. I'm just, I'm very basic, just giving you basic stuff. It seems to me that they max his 3 first, his 1, his 2, and his 4. So that's the order of which they max it. So if I was building the character manually, I would start with the 1, just so I have the, easy clear and the stun. So I have the 1, the 3, the 2, go back to the 3, right? At level 5, you get your ultimate, okay? Then you go back to the 3 and you push it. So there you go again. Again, I can't do it anymore. Go to the 1, okay? It opens up the 3 again. I'm going to max the 3. It's done. Then I'll go back to the 1. Go ahead and max it out, then go to the 2, max it all the way out, and then go to the 4, the ultimate, max it all the way out. Each ability does different things. The ultimate, I guess we'll start it since we're right there. His ultimate is similar to Thanatos. He doesn't execute, so once the enemy god is below 30% health, you can execute him. And the cool thing about Achilles is once you execute him, you can also use the attack again to do damage to another enemy god. If there's another enemy god that has below 30%, you can hit them and execute them, and you can go again, and you can do that up to 5 times. So if the whole team is around you and they all have below 30% health, and you execute one of them, theoretically you can get all of the other ones as long as they're in range and stuff like that. His 3 is a combat dodge, so he dodges out of the way. He shoots like a spear. He throws a spear at them. If you hit an enemy god, you can do it again and throw another one. I'll show you when we get in the game. His 2 is a buff. All right, it gives him defense, protections, crowd control reduction. You can see it right there. It's very good for just entering combat and stuff like that. And then his 1 is a cone. Very good for wide damage, and then anyone within a certain range gets stunned. So with that being said, we're going to jump into the gameplay. I'm going to give you guys a couple of builds that I found from other people. Of course, I'm going to credit them, and then their links will be in the description if you want to see a play-by-play when they use those builds. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, so we're in the game now, and you can see the floating icon like I mentioned from his passive. We're going to start out with the sword, so I'm going to switch by pressing my basic attack, so the right trigger, bam. So now I have the sword equipped. I can move faster and do more damage. All right, so we're gonna give some items. We're gonna unlock his abilities, and then I'm going to come back and then just demonstrate the abilities and stuff like that. Before I cut though, here are a couple of build options you can use for this character, and I do not take credit for any of the builds. This goes to Shiny B, Final K, and Nano Smite YouTube, all in order. They use their certain builds for the character. You can watch their videos, links will be in the description, and understand why they use that build in that certain play and stuff like that. But the reason I chose those 3 is because they've all used different ones. So, but in case you need like a quick little build because you're playing right now, you need to just follow a decent build guide. Here's a bunch of different ones. I believe Nano Smite didn't finish his build because the game ended before he could. So I'm just going to fill it in with a couple of items that I think would be nice for that build. But Final K is really good, and then of course Shiny B seems to be really good as well. So definitely include those, and then I'm going to cut it here, and we'll come back to explain the abilities and just demonstrate them and stuff like that. All right, so we have all my abilities now. I'm going to demonstrate how to use them or what they do. So the 1 is a cone, okay? It's stun. I guess it didn't work there, but it stuns once you get in a certain range. I'll do it again once it comes up, but I guess I can't demonstrate my ultimate. But you see that symbol that came up that means you can execute the character. You press Y. All right, I'm just gonna use it. You press Y, okay? And when you hit an enemy god with that, it'll execute them if they have that symbol. That means they're below 30% health. All right. The 3. I guess I'll wait for Guan Yin to come back. The 3 is just a simple dodge. You can see I can dodge in any direction. All right. So I dodge in a direction, and then I can throw out a spear. All right. If that hits an enemy god, I can do it again. Okay. And then the 2 is just protections. Okay. Nice little aura of light, and you get some protection. Very simple. There is a advanced technique you can do with it. I don't know how to do it because I'm not that good with Achilles. I'm not as proficient as Final K or some of the other people that I've mentioned before with the builds. But I believe Final K demonstrates how to get the most damage with Achilles by doing an ability and then following it up with an auto. Like holding down the auto. I don't know how to do it because I don't practice it, but you do an attack and then you follow it with an auto, and you can do multiple within it or something like that. You cancel. I don't know how to do all that. Again, I'm just basic beginner, how to use the god. Couple of builds for you guys in case you guys need to build something, follow a blueprint or whatever it is. But yeah, that's pretty much the basic for Achilles. We're gonna move on to Agni. Again, if there's anyone watching that is more proficient as Achilles and I missed something, feel free to let me know in the comments. But let's go ahead and move on to Agni. All right, next up we have Agni here. We're gonna go into the ability builder. We're gonna clear out all of this, and we're gonna talk about his passive first, which is combustion. After 4 basic attacks, he gets a buff, which will allow his 2 or his 4 to do burning damage over a certain amount of time when he hits them with that ability once the buff has been activated. So after 4 basic attacks, he gets the buff. He uses his 2 or his 4. It does burning damage when he hits whoever he hits with that, okay? In terms of what each ability does, his number 1, Noxious Fumes, is a ground target. It's like oil on the ground, does damage to gods that stand in it. And then in combination with any of his other abilities, it explodes and it'll stun them. I'll show you when we get into the gameplay. His 2, it's like a basic fire attack. It just shoots out fire. Very simple. Path of Flames is a dash. He dashes with fire falling behind him. Again, if he goes through the Noxious Fumes, explodes, stuns, does damage. And of course, Rain of Fire, his ultimate ability. It depends on how many halos he's got floating around his head. If he can get a max of 3, so he can do it a maximum of 3 shots. So it's like 3 giant meters that come and hit the ground. And again, paired with that 1 and his buff, it does burning damage. It can explode. It can stun. Lots of good combos you can use with Agni to get the upper hand against whoever you're going against. And then in terms of his ability, the order of which you want to max, it seems that I watched Wolfie's video, Elion's, and one other person's. A lot of them, or I think all of them, went 2, 3, 4, and then 1. So they did the 2 first, the 3, the 4, and then the 1. There's a weird thing that happens at level 8 that I can't show with this. I'll have to show it in-game. But let's start with the build. So 2, 3, you go back to the 2, up to the 1, down to the 4. We're gonna go 2 again, 2 one more time, and then right here at level 8, they don't level anything. They wait till level 9, and then they do the ultimate along with maxing the 2. But I can't do it here because I'm not in game, so I can't like skip over it. So we're gonna do the 3, the 4, max the 2, go back to 3, okay, back to the 3 again, and unlocks the 4. Do the 4, max out the 3. Go back up to the 1 until it unlocks the 4 again. So 1, 1, there's the 4, 4, 1, 1, and then 4. Okay, those numbers that I'm saying is the number of the ability and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys are understanding that. Let's jump to the gameplay so I can explain and show you guys what I meant about the levels and just showing the combos and stuff like that. All right, guys, so I'm level 8 and I'm going to just demonstrate the abilities while explaining what I meant by waiting a level before upgrading stuff. You can see that on the bottom I'm blinking with abilities. They're like, hey, you can upgrade one of the abilities, the 1 or the 3. But I've noticed that Wolfie and El Leon waited until level 9, and then they upgraded their ultimate along with maxing out the 2. So the first ability is a Noxious Fumes. You see this? Got a little like oil on the ground, stuff like that. Oh god, it can use all those abilities. Okay, so I'm like almost dead. I'm gonna back up here a little bit. But you see the damage I'm taking right now. My controller's shaking like crazy. Here's the ultimate. Okay, that's the ultimate right there. I'm going to get some Agni too, so he's gonna get away. That's fine. But the ultimate, the halos, the meteors come down on top. All right, so if he has, I have 1 halo left, which means I can use 1 more. Okay, so Noxious Fumes you saw. If I hit it with a 2, 3, or the 4, it explodes. Okay, it explodes and does damage. The 3 is just a dash and leaves fire behind. So let me get behind these minions real quick, and if I dash through, leaves fire, does damage to anyone that is in that fire. And of course, if Noxious Fume was there, it would do an explosion damage. Let me go to like this harpy over here real quick to demonstrate the stun. Right. So the harpy's right here. Put down the Noxious Fumes. Boom, I use my 2. It stuns him, does damage, and that's a mini combo you can use with that. You can use the Rain of Fire. I think I used 2 of them because I had 3 halos, so I have 1 left. And that's pretty much it. I mean, Agni's pretty simple. Am I level 9 yet? I'm level 9. So now I can do my ultimate. Bam. And now I can do my 2. See? Maxed out my 2 and my ultimate. That's what they were doing in the game, and that's what they were taking advantage of and stuff like that. So, yo, is he gonna kill me? Oh no! But oh, I killed him too. All right, so yeah, so that's pretty much the basic for Agni. It's a little embarrassing, but before we jump into the next one, here's some builds. This is from Wolfie, El Leon. Again, Wolfie and El Leon, 2 professional players, so I mean, they definitely have the knowledge to back up and the credibility to take notes from on building Agni the way that they build him and stuff like that. Again, links in the description if you want to see the full play-by-play for each player and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it for Agni. Very basic abilities and stuff like that. You can see the halos again floating, which means I can use 2 of my Rain of Fires. 1, 2, and I can't use any more. Yeah, pretty simple. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you guys got any questions, let me know. There's Agni experts watching. Let me know if I missed anything. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, next up we have Muzen Cab, one of my favorite gods, and unfortunately I don't play with him as much because he's not as good as he used to be. And let's go ahead and jump into his abilities to see what he uses. We have his 1, his 2, his 3, his 4, and his passive. His passive is called Bees, and it's basically an infection among the enemy, so all of his abilities apply bees to the enemy. And what happens is if they go around another enemy or another minion or whatever it is, it'll apply bees to them as well. So it just spreads and does damage and stuff like that. If a Muzen Cab hits an enemy god while they have bees affected on them, it'll extend it so they'll continue to take damage over time. His 1 is a beehive, so he can place it down, and it acts as a ward, so you can see pretty much anyone within the the hive radius. If someone comes in and destroys it, you'll see who did it, and you'll be like, oh, someone's coming to attack me. It's a pretty good thing to have. It also increases his movement speed, his attack speed, his healing. It's in general, it's just a really good thing for a Muzen Cab to be around the radius of the hive. So when the hive gets put down, there's a radius that is around the hive, and when a Muzen Cab is in that hive, he gets the benefits of the speed and healing and everything like that. His 2 is his Swarm, probably his best ability, and he just shoots a line of bees towards an enemy, and it applies bees. So everyone that he hits gets bees affected onto them. And again, if it runs out of range and there's somebody without that range, but everybody in front of that enemy god has bees, then he gets bees as well. I'll show you when we get into the game, stuff like that. Honey, this is his slow ability, so he shoots honey out, and if it's connected to the radius of the hive, the bees from the hive will come and apply bees onto wherever the honey is sticking to. So minions, enemy gods, all that stuff. As long as you connect it from the hive. So if you're attacking, I'll show you in game. If you're attacking within the radius and you stick the honey like right on the edge, and then you like line it out to like grab the enemy gods and stuff like that. It's a lot harder to explain, but you'll see when I get into game. Use the honey. If you attract, you can put the bees on them, do damage, stuff like that. The stinger, very cool ability. It shoots out his stinger, does lots of damage, and then after a certain period of time, I think it's like 3 or 4 seconds, it'll drop on the ground and remain on the ground for 3 or 4 seconds. If a Muzen Cab picks up the stinger, it reduces his cooldown for his ultimate by a lot. So instead of waiting the full minute or 2 minutes or whatever it is for the cooldown, it'll be like 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Very useful perk there. And let's go ahead and go over his ability builder if you want to build it manually. Muzen Cab, the couple of people that I watched, and then of course for me personally just playing him, you want to do his 2 first, his 1, his 4, and then his 3. All right, those are probably the most important things to do. So we start off with his 2, go up to his 1, okay, down to his 3, then up to his 2 again, down to his 4. Then we're going to focus on the 2. All right, so 2, 2. Can't do the 2 anymore. Do the 1. We open up with the 4. We're going to do the 4 real quick. Come back to the 2. Max it out. 1, 1. Back down to the 4. 1, 3, 3, 4, 3, 3, and then 4. All right. The basic, I mean, that can be switched around a little bit and stuff like that. If there's any AMC experts, let me know. I haven't played in a long time, but I think that's the basics of it right there. Just the 2, the 1, the 4, and then the 3. Let's go ahead and jump into the gameplay for AMC. Alright, so I have a Muzen Cab's abilities. Let's go ahead and demonstrate it on Ymir here. Let's start with his ultimate. Alright, first a Stinger. Alright, so Stinger's now inside of Ymir. That sounds weird, but see how I grabbed it. But it drops out. I grabbed it. Now look at that. 15 seconds for my ultimate. I can use it again. Honey. Already killed him. But you see this honey, this little track of red skulls is the honey, alright, for a Muzen Cab. If you use it within, so like this is the radius for the hive. If you use it within like here, right, so I start here and I drag it out, the honey, the bees will follow that line, alright, so wherever it hits, if I hit that minion, so let me do it over here. Again, so the radius is obviously the hive. So you can see on the map, I see all those dots, all those little like black dots is the hive, alright. So we have Huyi here coming towards me. I'm going to do here, I'm going to extend it out, and look at that. He's taking damage now from the bees. Alright, there's my 2. Just a line ability of bees. He's going to jump right on me. Okay, stinger, bam, okay. He's going to die. There's a stinger right there, okay. I can pick it up, boom. Nice little cooldown, okay. Then I can use it again in 15 seconds, and just keep it going over and over and over again. Very simple. I stay within my hive. I'm gaining health per second. I get faster attack speed. I'm going to have the build, so one from Shawnee B again. Shawnee B, check him out. He's got a lot of God guides, so I definitely picked up a couple from him. Shawnee B, the best taco, and then I have my own personal build for AMC. That's pretty much it for AMC. Very simple, very basic. You know, use your hives wisely. Make sure you keep an eye on them. If you see someone smacking them down, you can see where people are. So if I put one right on top of Ymir, come here, Ymir. If I put one right there, I mean, I guess I can see him because he's approaching me. But like, if I wasn't there, if Ganesh wasn't there, if the minions weren't there, when an enemy passes towards the, you know, the hive and they hit him and stuff like that, it'll reveal them on the map, and then you can see, oh, someone's coming. Oh, someone destroyed my thing. You know, so it's always good to keep an eye on that kind of stuff. And yeah, very simple. And let's move on to the next god. Alright, going into a Puch now, we're going to go into his ability builder and do the exact same things. We're going to go in, we have his 4 abilities, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to start off with his passive. So a Puch, some of his abilities, I believe his first and third ability, leave bodies, they leave corpses on the ground. When he goes over them, it reduces the cooldown of his 1 and 2, and it restores his mana and health by a certain percent. So like I said, his 1 sends out 2 dead people, like corpses, and they explode wherever they hit, and they fall to the ground. And then a Puch can either use his 2, corpse explosion, to explode the corpse, or he can walk over them and grab the extra health or mana and cooldown reduction. So his 2 is an explosion. It targets the ground. If there's dead bodies around there, if there's a corpse there, it'll also explode the corpse, doing extra damage and stuff like that. Then we have his 3rd here. It's kind of like a shoot, an arc ability. It can shoot over walls. It can shoot over, you know, obstacles and stuff like that. It just shoots over and it leaves a corpse there. So you can do your 1, your 3, you have 3 corpses, and then your 2, and then you can do like a huge explosion for tons of damage. And then his 4th is just a line of constant units just coming out and attacking, hitting anything it runs into and stuff like that. I'll show you when I get into it. It's pretty hard to miss. It's very noticeable when you'll see it. And then the order of which to upgrade his abilities, it varied from each person. I checked like 3 different people, and they kind of did it a little bit different than the other one, but they all started with 2. Okay, so they did 2, they did 3, I think, and then I think they went to 1, 2, and then 4, and then they focus on doing their 2. All right, so 2, do the other 2 again. Can't do it anymore. I'm gonna do I can't do the ultimate, so we'll do the 3. There's the ultimate. Do the ultimate. Max the 2. Push to 3 again. 3 one more time. 4, 3, back up to 1. Wait for the 4. There it is. 4, 1, 1, and then a 4. We can focus more on the 3 than the ultimate, and Ink can focus more on the ultimate than the 3. So it's the 2 first, followed by either the 3 or the 4, and then the 1 is definitely last. All right, and then Shawnee B, he started with the 1, but I'm gonna go with. I mean, not saying that his build is wrong. His ability is. You can try it that way as well. But I'm going to go with Weekend and Inkin, since they, I know Weekend used to be a professional player, and Inkin is well known, and he's well respected and very good at the game, stuff like that. So I think that's relatively how you do it. I could be wrong. If there's any Puch masters, let me know if I did it right. If not, just let me know in the comment section. Let's go into the gameplay to demonstrate the abilities that I was talking about. Alright, so we got all of Puch's abilities. Go ahead and demonstrate how, or what his abilities do, so you understand what I meant by when I was explaining and stuff like that. So his 1 and his 2 send out corpses, his 2 explodes them, and his ultimate is like a wave of it. So we're gonna do a 1, do a 3, okay, explosion, and then ultimate. See how a bunch of stuff comes out and hits them? I don't know how he survived that, but that's basically it. All right, so 1, you got a bunch of corpses. 2, a 3rd one, and then your 2 explodes all of them. So 1, maybe 3. See, if I don't explode them, I can pick them up. See? Get some health, some mana. Okay. 2 explosions. If there's corpses there, it explodes it, and that's pretty much it. That's the basic. I mean, that's all I really have for a Pois. I'm gonna have some builds up for you guys again, so we can see if you guys are playing a Pois. There's a couple builds for you guys. One from Weekend, Inkin, and I believe Shawnee B again. So if you guys want to check them out, the play-by-play, the link will be in the description for the play-by-plays if you are playing as a Pois. But those are the builds, basic builds, and that's pretty much it for a Pois. That's how you play them, and if you play against them, that's what you want to look out for. Okay? That's what you want to look out for. So, yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. If there's any Pois Masters and I missed something, let me know. But that's all I have. Let's go on to the next god. Alright, next up we have Amaterasu, the Shining Light. Let's go into her ability builder. And we have her 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have her passive, Illuminating Strike. Basically, all it does is when she hits an enemy, it lights them up. When she hits them 3 times, it creates a weakness on the enemy, and it creates an aura around them. And that person, that enemy unit, whatever it is, takes 10% more damage from everyone. Herself, friendly minions, friendly gods, all that stuff. And then anyone within the aura, any other enemies in that aura also take 10% more damage. You don't have to hit them, they just have to be within that aura. The 1, her 1 is a buff, and it switches between movement speed and power. So the yellow is the movement speed, the red's the power. When you switch between them, you get a bit of a healing bonus, you get some healing, and any allied gods around you also receive that bonus. So if you're in the movement speed, everyone around you gets movement speed. Power, all the people get power. And yeah, moving on to her second ability, we have Heavenly Reflection. So she charges up a shield. When she takes damage or does damage, it charges up even more. And then when it hits about 4 or 5 seconds, or you can manually send it off by hitting the button again, it does more damage depending on how charged up it is. So when she takes more damage, it's more charged up, resulting in more damage. Or if she does damage, it does more damage when the mirror fires off. I'll show you when we get into the gameplay. Glorious Charge is basically just a dash, simple dash. When she dashes, she silences any god that she hits, which means that they can't use any abilities for 1 second. And then she has her ultimate. So what happens is she jumps up, she does 3 strikes. Each strike does more damage, and if she lands all 3 strikes on whichever god she's trying to use it on, it stuns them. Okay, stuns them for 2 seconds. Also does a slow. But yeah, the damage goes up each successful strike, and then you get that stun and the chance to kill them. And then for her ability builder, so if you want to build it yourself, everyone relatively did the same thing. They maxed her 2 first, they maxed her 1, then they did the ultimate, and then they did the 3. Okay, so they did 2, then they did the 1, and the 3, back to the 2. That opens up the ultimate. Do the ultimate, right? Then you push the 2 until you can't push anymore. Boom, can't push it. Do the 1, that opens up the 2. Do the 2 again. Go back up to the 1 again. 1 again, and then we're going to go down to the ultimate, do the ultimate again, then we go back up to the 3 once again, 4, 3, 3, and then 4. That's what I relatively saw within the gameplay. They were focusing on the ultimate after the first 2 were done, all right, and they did it when they could. So that's pretty much it. We're going to jump into the gameplay, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so now we have all of Amaterasu's abilities. Let's go ahead and demonstrate how to use them and stuff like that. I guess before we do that, here's the different builds. We have 3 different builds. We have Final K's build, the other Frostes, and Nano Smite YouTubes. Alright, so I thought they were pretty cool. And the other Frost, he, in his video, explains that you can use different stuff and stuff like that. So I'm going to include, like, different items for his build and stuff like that. But those are the basic builds for that. But yeah, basic abilities, her 1, so you can see I'm a little low on health. If I just switch between the power to the movement speed, I get a little bit of tick, so plus 28, plus 28. Alright, my tower's getting attacked here. I'm using my 2, alright. None of them are attacking me, but they were attacking me. See how I'm doing damage? See, look at the yellow. The yellow is allowing me to do more damage. That's a charge up. That's a charge up for your 2, okay? My 3, that was my dash. You saw me dash out. If I would have hit Achilles, I would have silenced him. And then for my ultimate, okay, there's a cone. 1, 2, and 3. He's stunned. And now I can take advantage. Alright, I'm taking damage. See, it's going up again. See the little yellow sun thing right there, okay? And you can see the little illumination that he's got. Oh, be careful here because he's got his. Yeah, that's what I thought. That illumination, that means he can take 10% more damage now. Alright, taking a little bit more fire. I'm gonna switch. Okay, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for Amaterasu. Right, if you're going against Achilles, be careful. Watch out for his ultimate. We did hit him earlier. Okay, he's the first guy we did. All right, watch his ultimate. He's going to look for that. So let's see if I can get him to silence here. Come on. Okay, I silenced him. That little, it was like a short pop-up. Like, silenced him for a little bit. He doesn't have his ultimate because he just used it, but that's pretty much it. That's the basics. That's the basics. I'm struggling against a bot. You can tell I don't really use Amaterasu. So if there is any Amaterasu experts, let me know if I missed anything. But that's the basics. Her abilities, what she does, and yeah, that's it. Let's go into the last god. And last but not least, we got Anhur here. Let's go into his ability builder and talk about Anhur. We have his 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we have his passive. Passive really simple. His spear attacks just reduce enemy physical protection, allowing him and anyone like minions and friendly gods to do more damage to that specific god. Alright. His one's really simple. He's got an obelisk that comes out the ground and creates sand around that area. If there's enemy gods or minions in there, it slows them down. If he uses his 2, which is impale, to knock them into that, it'll stun them. So his impale, it goes through minions, it goes through gods, it goes through every god except for the first one. So the first god it hits, it's going to stick them and move them back. So if they hit them into a wall, if it hits them into the obelisk, it stuns them. Okay, very simple. It's in a line. And then we have Disperse, which is his leap. So he can just jump to a certain location and does damage wherever he lands. He can jump over walls. He can jump away from danger, all that stuff. And then his ultimate is very simple as well. He just throws a bunch of spears at one time and it does a lot of damage. And then for his build, I checked Barracuda, Zapman, and Inkin. All 3 very good, respected players among the Smite community. I think Barracuda was the only person who went 2-1-4-3, so he didn't really go towards his ultimate that much. I don't know if that was just that video, but again, links in the description if you want to check it out. And then Zapman and Inkin both went 2-4-1-3, so they maxed the 2, and then whenever they could, they put something into the 4, right? So I think it's 2, 1, 3, 2. They might do 2, like 2 for the 2, and then 1 for the 1, and then they go back to do the Disperse. But 2 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 for the ultimate, right? And then they focus on the 2. So 2, 2, and when they get a chance, okay, I can't do it yet. So the next important thing is 1. So 1, 4 opens up, do the 4, can't do it anymore. Then the 2 again, 1, 1, okay, there's the 4. So we're gonna do the 4 again, that's the ultimate. Still can't do it again, okay, so now 1 again. Then we're gonna do 3, 3, we can do the 4, so 4 again, and then 3, 3, and then 4. Alright. Barracuda did it a little different, so if you check out his gameplay, he does, I think he ignores the ultimate and does the 1 at one point, or was it the 4? Yeah, he does the 1 at one point instead of the ultimate, so it looked like to me he was, you know, favoring the 1 over the 4 in that gameplay, but for the most part, that's what I picked up from watching those videos. Anyway, let's go into the gameplay and demonstrate his abilities, and then we'll be done. Alright, so we got Anhur and all his abilities. Let's see if I can demonstrate the abilities correctly. Hopefully I can hit this. I'm not a good Anhur player. I never really use Anhur, but let's see what we can do here. Alright, so the obelisk, the 1. Alright, she put up the 1. And there's no one in there, so I can't use it. But let's use the 2. You see that? See how I stunned him into the wall? You can do that. Alright, he's going to stun me. My 3 is jump. I can jump. Do damage, I knock him up. And then my ultimate is a line of spears. Very easy. Very simple. I missed the 2 into the 1, but hey, we do what we can. We do what we can. So here are the builds again. So we have Inkin, Barracuda, and Zapman, I believe, is the ones where I got it from. So, you know, they're pretty reputable people. The first 2 are pro players, and I think Inkin might be a pro player. I'm not really sure. But very credible again, and, you know, don't see any problems with any of their builds. Again, the link will be in the description if you want to follow along and figure out why they made certain builds and stuff like that. But that's all I really have for the video, guys. This took a while for me to make. That's why, I don't know if you noticed, it went from like lighter to darker. It's all dark now because it's dark outside. But that's all I have for the video, guys. Those are the first 6 gods we're going to go over. Basic god guides, again, links in the description for every single build. And again, I am not an expert at the game. I never will claim to be. I don't play it that much in order to be considered an expert and all that stuff. But I do play it enough to where I can help at least a little bit, you know, bring some stuff together. Like, you know, when I go to build videos, I kind of want to see multiple builds because some builds don't work for certain matchups and stuff like that. So that's why I provided 2 or 3 for each guy, so that way you guys can pick and be like, oh, maybe I'll take this part and put it over here. You know, you can change however you want, but those are the basics behind it. And then, of course, if you never played a god, or if you playing against them, you're like, what does that god do? Hopefully these types of videos will help so you can, like, be ready for it, you know what I'm saying? So those are the first 6 we're going to go over. Then we're going to come back and do Anubis through whoever's on his right side. I forgot who it was, but hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely appreciate a like, comment, subscribe. Again, if I missed anything, anybody out there, it's, you know, they mained that character that I did and I missed something, let me know in the comment section and I will get to it and let everybody know, you know, stuff like that. So, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, And if you did, definitely appreciate a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.